Welcome back to Storytime with Kayla Jade. Today, I want to talk to you guys about how I almost literally died from getting a BBL in Turkey, which left me scarred physically and emotionally. My client booked the most. Get ready with. Oh my god, you guys! Let's do a pack my bag. So yeah, I got some notes down because I always forget to leave little details out. I'll be like, oh my god, I forgot to say this. It's obviously from my ADHD brain. I'll have friends be like, oh, remember that time that we did this? And I'll be like, I cannot even remember that. Or my sister will be like, oh, this thing from our childhood. And I'm like, I have no idea. It's a complete blank. And I thought it was from drugs that I took when I was younger. I don't know. But recently in the last year, I found out that people with ADHD can suffer from memory loss. A lot of them will just forget years of their childhood and stuff. So it was quite reassuring finding that out, being like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one. But anyway, back to the BBL story. So I've had 2 BBLs, and the first one I got done in Turkey. So it was when I didn't have much money, and I really wanted to get a BBL. From the time I was young, I've been super insecure about myself, or not insecure, but just had body image issues. I suffered from an eating disorder when I was a teenager that left me hospitalized. I was in hospital for a good few weeks, and I had to gain enough weight to get into an eating disorder clinic, which is crazy. That's a whole story in itself. But anyway, I've always struggled with self-image, and yeah, I remember even being little, not little, but a teenager, and being oh, this is really sad to me now, but being oh, I wish I could take the fat out of my stomach and put it into my hips, because I was really insecure about my hip dips. I was thinking of surgeries before they were even a thing. And so yeah, from the time I was young, I always wanted to get a BBL to fill in my hip dips, which makes me so sad now. But anyway, so I had heard of people going to Turkey because it was so much cheaper, and I didn't have any money. So I was like, okay, we're going to try out Turkey. I'd had some friends that had been, so I was like, okay, cool, let's try it. And so I found a place online. I was doing research, found a place called Vanity Aesthetic. They're going to hate me for this, but it needs to be told. So yeah, started a consultation process with them, sent in my photos. I was like, this is what I want. And they were like, yeah, we can do that, easy. And they were like, here's the plan. So they did those sort of package deals where they'll fly you, and you'll stay at accommodation there for a week, and then you'll fly back. So I was like, okay, cool. I found them online because they had really good reviews. Every review was amazing, which now looking back was probably a red flag that everything was perfect. But they had so many really good before and after pictures. So I was like, oh wow, this is the place. And they were really easy to talk to, English speaking. So it was easy to contact through WhatsApp, and we were talking back and forth, and I had a phone consultation with the doctor on video, and he was like, yeah, we can do what you're looking for. So yeah, I was like, okay, set to go. I paid the deposit, and it's a 16-hour flight or something to Turkey, which was crazy. But yeah, within a couple months, I was like, okay, let's book it in. And I went over there, and I get over to Turkey, and a driver, he comes to pick me up. A driver from the Vanity Aesthetic, they sent him to come pick me up. And then, so what I'm aware of is they told me that I'm going to get picked up, and then go settle in the hotel and have a doctor's consult at the clinic. And so we dropped off the bags at the hotel, went straight to the clinic, and I was waiting there for 45 minutes. No one came out, and it was very I didn't really know what was going on because the driver didn't speak English. The reception staff didn't really speak any English. So I was just like, okay, just going with it, seeing what happens. And so I was waiting there for 45 minutes to an hour, and then they're like, oh no, you've got to go meet him at the hospital. So we drive all the way to the hospital, which is an hour away, Drive there. They make me hand over my passport and the rest of the money for the BBL, which like I knew was going to happen. So I was ready for that. And then I was waiting at the hospital for like an hour and this doctor never came. And then one of the nurses got me and was searching everywhere for the doctor. Was searching for like 2 hours for this doctor. And by this time it is dark, like in Turkey. And then like I also have my surgery literally the next morning. So I'm kind of freaking out at this point. I'm kind of being like, okay, like what's going on? Like, why is no one telling me what's happening? Like, you know, like where's the doctor? And then we get a call for like the driver gets a call being like, oh no, the doctor's at the clinic. So we had to go back to the clinic. I can't even make this up. Like back to the clinic to see the doctor. We finally get there and he is there. And so basically you have a consult with him. He checks your body and is like, you know, make sure you're happy with everything. And the first thing he says to me was like, oh, you don't have enough fat. You don't have enough fat, so you're not going to get the result that you want. And like, I knew for sure, like I had enough fat. Like I made sure I was like drinking milk. Like I was like, I gained like from my first initial consultation, like over the phone, like which I was already at like a decent weight for a BBL. Like I gained like more weight, so they would have more fat to take. And he was just like, oh no, you don't have enough fat, which is just ridiculous because yes, I did. And I feel like he was just sort of saying that to kind of like, I don't know, like, so I don't get my hopes up, or like he was just going to do like a cheap job. So he was like setting the bar low. So like I was like really disappointed with that. I was like, oh man, like that sucks. Like I'm not going to like, he already put in my head that I'm not going to get the results that I wanted, even though over the phone they were like, oh my God, yes, like this is going to be amazing. I go back to the hotel and like get ready for the surgery the next day, and I'm staying at this like budget ass hotel. It's like an airport hotel. It is really like a little bit sketchy. But anyway, I get picked up for the surgery the next day, and I'm like waiting in the like operating room, and like the doctor's like marked me up. And then the anesthetist comes in and he's like, oh, like, have you had anything? Like, what's the medication you've been taking? And I had been taking something. I think I was on like the contraception pill or something like that. I was like, oh, I've been taking this. And then he got like so upset that I had been taking something, but like none of the doctors, nurses, or anyone at the consult had said anything about not taking any medication. And I hadn't really had like many surgeries before that, so like I didn't know that you weren't. But yeah, he was like, oh, that's all right, like we're gonna do the surgery anyway. Okay. So yeah, it's surgery time, it's go time. And literally the worst thing, like my worst nightmare and everyone else's worst nightmare happens like on the operating table. Like I could literally feel everything. Like I'm not even kidding you. Like, so when you get a BBL, they have these like rod things, these like silver rods, and they like push it into your stomach and it like sucks out all the fat. So I could just feel like, I just remember feeling like my fat getting sucked out of my stomach, and it was just the most burning sensation. Like I couldn't even describe it. Like I was literally paralyzed. Like I could not move, but I could feel everything. I could just feel that, and I could feel like a tear running down my eye. And it was just the most traumatic thing I've ever been through. I even remember like hearing like the nurses and doctors like talking amongst each other like when I was going through this. But yeah, I must have like gone unconscious because I don't remember anything after that. So I get out of surgery and then I wake up and I'm just in the most excruciating pain I have ever felt in my life. And I was literally like vomiting blood. I was like, my body was just in shock. Like I was just uncontrollably shaking. I was freezing. I was like crying, screaming. Like it was just a nightmare. Like I was just gaining like in and out of conscious. I've never experienced that like traumatic thing in my life. Like it was just, and it was hard as well because like a lot of the doctors and stuff around me who were the ones being like, no, you need to do this, you need to, like a lot of them didn't speak any English. So I was like, it was so hard to know like what was going on. Like I was going through this traumatic thing, but like everyone was sort of like, it's okay, but like they weren't really reassuring me. And I remember lying like on, like when I woke up, I was lying on my back, which when you get a BBL, like I knew this from my own research, like you're not supposed to sit on your butt for 6 weeks because I know it seems like a long time. Like I would literally remember like standing up in restaurants because or like kneeling over because I couldn't sit down. You can't sit on that butt for 6 weeks because if you sit on it, you're just going to destroy the fat cells because they're like new fat cells that need to form. So if you're just going to like put pressure on it, they're going to go away. So like I knew, and I was like so pedantic, like I did not want to be like lying on my butt. And I was like to the nurses, like why am I lying on my butt? Like you're not supposed to. And they were like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. Because like I guess they didn't really care, like their job is done. Like, you know, if that fat dies, it's going to die in like a few weeks time, like after the surgery. And so I couldn't even like, I could not move my body. Like I couldn't move myself to turn myself around. Like I was very insistent on it, but they were just like, no. And like, I wasn't going to tell them to do the job. I wasn't going to be like, no, this was my research and I did this. So I was just like, whatever. I was just in a out of it state anyway. I was just like, I'm just trying to survive at this point. But yeah, it literally just like, I thought I was going to die. Like just like my body was just going through the works. Like it was a horrible experience. And then, so the next day, like I still can't move, by the way. Like I still can't, like my body isn't strong enough to like barely lift an arm. And they get me out of bed and like they try and like get me walking like straight away because like they want me to start walking so I can go home because they're like, you know, you got to get out of here, like we're waiting on the next patient kind of thing. So they started like trying to get me to walk and like every step I was just like screaming like out of control. Like I wasn't eating, like everything I would eat I would just vomit up. And it wasn't even from like the anesthetic. It was just like, because this was like a day after, I was just like, my body was just absolutely. And they were like, no, okay, it's time to go home, time to go back to the hotel. And I was just like, I have no idea how I'm going to do this. Like I was still sort of like gaining in and out of consciousness. Like I was so f***ed up. And they were like, yeah, it's time to go home. And so they'd like, we got our bags and they were like, okay, we're going to get you dressed. And then like the driver's going to meet you downstairs. And there was like 2 nurses in the room. And then one of the nurses left. And so the male nurse was getting me dressed. Literally as soon as she shut the door, he was just like started touching me, kissing me, like so up. And I think he was doing it in a way was like, he was pretending to dress me. So like, he was like thinking like, oh, she's going to be like so out of it. So she's not even going to like remember this. But yeah, he was just like touching me super inappropriately, kissing me. And then like as soon as he heard her like come in the door, he like stopped. And then anyway, I was dressed and then he escorted me to the car. Same thing happened like in the elevator. As soon as the elevator doors shut, turned around, started like kissing me, like literally the grossest. I'm like, how can you do this to someone that is in like a state like that? Like that is so up. Like just the way he did it, I was like, you've done this before. Like how many patients have you done this to? Yeah, it was crazy. And I think the craziest thing about it is like the fact that like I didn't even remember that this happened until probably like 2 months after the surgery. I was literally in my kitchen and I was just like doing my thing, and then I remembered and I just started bursting out with crying. I was like, what the f-? Like that is insane. I think my body just like had gotten into like so much shock. Like it was just like, I know, like we're going to help you like survive, and then like once you're recovered, like you can remember that. Because like it was like so long after the surgery that I was like, it just clicked in my head. I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about that. Like I remember telling the kids down being like, what the f-? Like how did I not remember this? But yeah, obviously like, I reported it and like tried to, get his job taken away, but like nothing happened from it, unfortunately. I got to the driver and he took me to the hotel. And so I got into my room, and then like, so basically when you get a BBL, they put you in these like garments, like these like black sort of like, you know, like the Skims sort of like garments, like it was like a black tight like spandex that had to be like over your stomach and like on your legs, like for if you got like, I didn't get leg lipo, but like it was like kind of like a suit that you'd pull up, but it had like a hole for where like you needed to like wee or whatever. And yeah, like I remember even like, because you couldn't sit down, like I was like, I would have to like squat over the toilet. And then also like I remember buying, like I bought one of those, like, you know, the Shewees, like do you remember the Shewees? I bought one of those so like I didn't have to sit down. I could just like pee like a man. But yeah, you wear these like spandex things because like obviously you've just had the fat like ripped out of you. So like your skin needs to reattach to like, you know, the like muscle or whatever. And so you have to wear these spandex for like 6 weeks as well. Also, like you have to have these like lymphatic drainage massages, which is like, so like when you get a BBL, like your body is just so in shock and you get like so swollen and you get like fluid retention. Like I was just like, I had swelled up like a balloon. So they give you these like lymphatic massages to like massage all the, like they say that they like massage all the water like to your lymph nodes, and then your body like sort of processes it and you wee it out. So yeah, I had to get those done, which were like the most excruciating pain. And like I remember like, because the nurse had to come, like a different nurse had to come around and do the massages, and I just remember taking off my garments and looking at my body and being like, I literally look the same. Like, yes, I've like had a bit of lipo, but it did not look any different. And I was just like so upset that like, you know, I'd gone through all this shit and it just like looked the fucking same. Because like I noticed as well, like my back had like, it's like almost like they had taken just like chunks of the fat out of my back and like left like a lot of it in there. It was just like random chunks taken out. And I was like, oh, like, is this gonna like get any better? Like, what is going on here? And they were like, oh no, like it's just because like you're swollen and blah blah blah. So I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And they were like, no, you won't see your full results till like a year's time or whatever. So I was like, okay, like trust that. Because obviously they had got me like sitting on my butt for so long, I was like, I'm just gonna try my best to like make this fat stay as much as I can. So I booked a business class flights the way back because like I wanted to like lie down on my stomach and not put any more pressure on my butt. But like by that point, like a lot of the damage had been done, and so what they put in just like didn't stay. It like, yeah, was gone within a few months. And then so about a year later, I think it was, I went to get a revision done with like a doctor in Australia, and he just like literally could not believe like that they had me sitting on my butt like straight out of surgery, because you're meant to wake up like on your stomach and put no pressure on your butt. He couldn't believe that, and he couldn't, like, he saw that they had just taken chunks out of my back, so like I wasn't wrong about that. Like, so he had to like, he went and like fixed everything up, and I got such amazing results from that. But yeah, he said like, he even said to me that some clinics have like stolen his before and after photos, and like they'll literally fake their reviews. So it makes sense that like, you know, I saw that clinic with like, you know, all the good reviews and all the good photos, and like they were probably all just fake. But yeah, like I got it fixed up, and like I was super happy with it after that. But yeah, he was saying as well, like, when you take out the fat of the body, like you have to like purify it before you put it back into the butt. And if that's not done properly, like if it's left out too long, if it's like, you know, not purified properly, like the fat will not last, like it'll just die. That's like the most important thing of the surgery. So I doubt they would have cared about that, and they probably just like, you know, didn't do it properly, and so like none of that fat survived. So yeah, it was pretty devastating results after all of that shit, which is crazy. But yeah, I was super happy like after my second one. Like I can't believe I went and got a second one after that traumatic experience. But But hey, it was something that I wanted. And I think at the time, like I was very still image focused, especially being like in this industry where you like rely on your looks for money, like very much at the time, like I was, and I just had a very low self-esteem. So I wanted to do that. And I feel as well like a lot of people in the industry are like constantly getting surgeries and stuff. So you're constantly comparing. Yeah, I just remember like, you know, never being happy. Like I would just be like, even when I got my second BBL, which it was like, my ass was massive. It was ginormous. And I just remember being like, what's next? You know what I mean? Like you just get into like this state of like, you get obsessed with it. And it's probably like, you know, me, like, you know, I had the eating disorders. Like I've always sort of had that. Like I feel crazy good now. Like I feel like I'm a completely different person. Like I'm not that same person because I no longer like rely on that stuff for happiness. Like I feel like I'm such a happier person. But yeah, I would just obsess over it. I mean, being in this industry, I feel like a lot of girls would, unfortunately. But yeah, don't cheap out and go to like a dodgy ass surgeon to get your BBL done, because like you just hear the horror stories. You hear people dying. Like you hear literal people dying on the operating table. Like it is crazy. Like I felt like so lucky to get out of that alive. Like, you know, like I just count my blessings every day because that situation was just so up. Like, yeah, it was a wild run. Yeah, like I guess for like, you know, the girls sort of watching, I feel like just like if you're thinking about getting something like that done, like just please be careful. Like if it is a must, please be careful. And you got to think about like why you're wanting to do it. Like, is it for you? Is it something that you've always wanted, or is it something that, you know, you want to do it because it's a trend? Like, please be careful, because, you know, if you get stuck in that like surgery cycle, you'll like be thinking of the next thing and constantly want like something new. So yeah, always work on yourself and make sure you're happy. Make sure you're totally happy before you make those crazy decisions, because they could be like life-changing. Anyway, thanks for listening to me and my little BBL talk. Yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. And if you guys have been through something similar, let me know. Bye.